MLS MVP contenders, can Lionel Messi hold off other candidates, including Inter Miami teammate Luis Suarez? Heading into the season, it felt like the Major League Soccer MVP award was Lionel Messi's to lose. The Argentine took Major League Soccer by storm in his first season in the league and was able to come in second in the MVP race after only a half season. But this season, injuries have caught up to Messi, allowing other players in the league to give him a run for the award, including his own teammate Luis Suarez. With only 4 to 5 games remaining, depending on the team, things such as the Supporters' Shield and the playoff chase will provide a platform for these rankings to change as major moments impact the remainder of the season. While MVP rankings take into account a player's full season, things like making the playoffs and awards do matter. Let's take a look at where things shake out. Honorable mentions. With a list like this, it's hard to include everyone who could be in the mix. Here's some names that are just on the cusp.
Daniel Gastag,
Cucho Hernandez, Christian Bentique, Ricky Puig, Matt Freese. The players aren't quite out of contention, but they're not at the levels of the players above them. All 5 are certainly MVPs within the specific teams, and with big finishes to the season they could end up being finalists for the actual MVP award, but it would be a surprise for any of them to win it.
5 Lionel Messi, Inter Miami.
If Messi featured for the entire season, there'd be no question that this award would be his, and considering the makeup of voting, it still may be, but there are a few things working against the Argentine. First is the time missed. Despite racking up 14 goals and 15 assists, including secondary assists, missing time and having Miami win matches without him should detract from his MVP credentials. Another issue is the run that Suarez has been on. Messi's Uruguayan will eat into his votes possibly, stopping him from winning MVP this season. 4. Luis Suarez, Inter Miami. Stepping up when Messi was absent for Inter Miami, Luis Suarez has proven that there's something left in his knees, and then some. Scoring from wherever he wants, Suarez has 17 goals and 6 assists. Those are numbers that could see him close out the season with the Golden Boot, depending on Miami's finish as they march toward the Supporters' Shield. Suarez has only started 5 matches this season during which he didn't register a goal or an assist, and without Messi he scored 5 goals to help keep the Herons on track. That's the kind of stuff that keeps him in the MVP race despite not having the counting stats of some of the players around him. 3. Cristian Arango, Real Salt Lake. Consistency is key for MVP candidates, and Chicho Arango had one of the best starts of anyone, scoring 17 goals before a suspension. But after, he has yet to score in league play for Real Salt Lake, only assisting 1 goal. If he's able to turn his play around, Arango could win the Golden Boot and push himself back into top contention for MVP, but that dry spell is enough to hurt his chances at the award. The Colombian has always been a streaky player in his career, so this isn't anything particularly surprising, but taking that next step is cats needed to secure MVP honors. 2. Luciano Acosta, FC Cincinnati. The reigning league MVP is doing what he does best, scoring and creating no matter what happens around him. FC Cincinnati's attacking core have changed drastically, but Acosta is still doing his thing, scoring 12 goals and assisting 18 more. His consistency is something to marvel at because no one in MLS has been able to match that over multiple seasons, but this is also where MVP fatigue may come into play. There's nothing against what Acosta has done, but at times voters like to see a new challenger take the crown. Not much was expected from the Timbers heading into the season, but as we close things out, they're likely into the Western Conference playoffs as a team that no one wants to face. The defense has been porous, and there has been a rotating cast in attack, but one constant has been Evander at the center of the midfield. With 15 goals and 17 assists, Evander has been involved in an astonishing 51% of Portland goals. Everything that the team does goes through him, and even with teams wanting to do everything possible to slow him down, it hasn't helped. Inter Miami is on the cusp of history in its final 4 matches of the MLS regular season. The Herons are in position to break the MLS single-season points record. Luis Suarez has fit in nicely in South Florida alongside former Barcelona teammates Sergio Busquets, Jordi Alba, and Lionel Messi. Miami, as of writing, sits in first place in the Supporters' Shield with 64 points from 30 matches. Lionel Messi's 28 goal contributions have propelled the Eastern Conference team up the table, coupled with Suarez's 17 goals in his quest for the Golden Boot. The MLS single-season points record stands at 73 points set by New England Revolution in 2021. Miami settled for a pair of draws on the road at Atlanta United and NYCFC, making the charge for the points record a little more difficult, but it's still attainable. The Herons need 10 points to set a new points record in MLS. That means it must win at least 3 times and draw once in its final 4 matches. Miami faces Charlotte FC at home, Columbus Crew and Toronto FC on the road, and the Revolution back at Chase Stadium on the final day of the regular season. While Gerardo Tata Martino might not be worried about breaking the points record in exchange for building up fitness and sharpness ahead of the postseason, a player like Messi might want to add another team accomplishment to his portfolio. However, with Messi likely to receive a call-up to the Argentina national team for its October matches, Martino will likely be without his superstar forward for the matches versus Columbus and Toronto. Throughout the season, Miami has proven that it can win without Messi. The frontline of Matias Rojas, Luis Suarez, and Robert Taylor is enough to beat most teams in the league. So, will Miami set a new single-season points record as the campaign comes to a close? With the talent Miami has, they have a decent chance of winning every match it plays. It wouldn't be unreasonable to expect it to pick up 3 points against Charlotte on September 28th, while a showdown with the Crew would be difficult. The reigning MLS Cup champions will be playing for higher seeding in the division. If Miami wins versus Charlotte and draws on the road at Columbus, it would need to win its final 2 matches of the season to make history. The Herons would be favorites at BMO Field versus Toronto, and it would be fitting for the team to break the points record against the Revolution, who set a new record 3 years ago. What makes things tricky for Miami is the number of players currently unavailable. Rojas, Diego Gomez, and David Martinez are all dealing with injuries and aren't expected to return until early October, which could pose problems against Charlotte with a short-handed team in defense.